7 days of all access, any handicapper, every play, all for $77. Grab this special now as it expires Monday, Memorial Day at 11:59 p.m. Pacific Time. That includes MLB, the NBA playoffs, the NHL playoffs, soccer, golf, and even motor racing. Complete coverage with complete convenience as you receive an email immediately once your handicap releases a play, allowing you to get the best of the line. Just use coupon code FLAG77. Have an existing all access? We have you covered, as the 7 days will be added to the end of your current subscription. Best of all, this special is not limited to one per customer. Try as many cappers as you would like each day for only $11 per day.
Welcome, everybody, to Wager Talk Today, Friday, May 26th. And Teddy, you're not going to believe this. Yes, you are. It's snowing in Toronto. Snowing!
What I don't believe is that you don't know what date it is. What's today's date?
May 28th, of course.
Yeah. Thank you. Okay, go on. So it's snowing? Yeah. It's 100 in Vegas today, but bummer. You have a choice of where you want to live. All right. I chose Vegas. You chose Toronto. Okay. So be it. Deal with it.
Teddy Covers, Lawrence Presman. Teddy, Rob Veno on today. We're going to talk Atlanta Hawks versus the Knicks. Tomorrow's Denver-Portland game and the Giants versus the Dodgers. And then Skee Profit's couple of WNBA games. He's so good at that sport. And we're going to look at the Brooklyn-Boston game. Massive congrats, dude. 11 in a row, 25 more to go. No, I can't even add. 15 more to go to beat Marco's record. I feel like you're going to do it. We're going to go on a Teddy watch. We've decided to extend your promo another day. We got a lot of great response from it yesterday. So everybody out there, Teddy $200 off of Teddy's entire baseball season all the way through to the playoffs. Teddy, well, you won your baseball last night. Was that, what else? What else went down in the world of the covers?
I won my baseball last night. I did lose the NBA with Phoenix, so I made things just enough to make things interesting at the end and then blow it in the last minute with a chance for a backdoor cover that I didn't deserve. It was a wrong side, unfortunately. But when we talk about what bettors learned last night, this is something I talked about. We did a whole bunch of videos about NBA playoff betting. I did a series with Hakeem Profit in the archives of the Wager Talk YouTube library, talking about when a team is done, they're done in the NBA playoffs. That might be the number one lesson to talk about. When they're done, they're done. Okay, blowout losses are often a good indicator that they're done. Not always, but often. When you saw Miami in the first half last night, they were done. Flat out done. And it shows in the point spread for game 4. It showed in the results last night. Game 2 of that series carried over to game 3. When a team is done, they're done. Now, there's 2 potential chances for that tonight. We look at Boston, Brooklyn, and then we look at the Clips and the Mavs. I happen to think one of those 2 series is done and one isn't. I'm betting it that way. You can get those plays right now over at WagerTalk and/or sportsmemo.com. What'd you learn last night, Prez?
A tease, Teddy. Nice segue. Well, I you know what? I just want to reiterate the 2 things I've mentioned over and over again. Overtime in hockey. It's just been, dude, both games last night. Both games went into overtime. And remember, everyone, you're looking at plus 320 minimum on those overtime games. And also, Teddy, as I've been saying all along, I mean, at least for the last 3 weeks, the Milwaukee Bucks, this team it's hungry, man. I'm telling you, this team is coming out of the East. I know, Brooklyn, Philly, I know. I've got a feeling. I got a feeling. Okay. Other than that, brother, I can't win a baseball game right now if I knew the score, but it's just one of those, same thing happened in NBA, Teddy. I started the NBA season like literally, like you could have called me the next day and I would have looked at the score and still bet the game wrong. And then the second half of the season, I killed it. Same is going on in baseball with me. I just can't get into a rhythm. What do you tell a person who is struggling in baseball?
Okay, so this is what you say first and foremost. Breathe. All right, that's whenever you're struggling in any sport. Exactly, it's namaste. It's chill, take a moment, take a day, take 2 days, take a weekend, breathe. Come back and look at it fresh. In general, in MLB, you want to be betting on teams that are currently undervalued in the marketplace and betting against teams that are currently overvalued in the marketplace. In general, finding those teams and isolating them and betting on them, even if you've lost once or twice betting on or against them before, is at least a piece of the process. So I would look to identify those teams, take a couple days off, breathe, and come back and fire away. That would be my 1 minute advice for MLB. Let's see what Rob Veno would say about that.
Robert, what do you have to say about that?
Well, I went through it, Prez, in baseball, just like you're describing. I had to cut back, and I just focused on basketball a little more and a little less on the Major League Baseball as far as putting out plays. And then, the last 2 weeks, it's gotten better. It's gotten better. Been a limited number of plays, except some days I think I see it a little clearer. But the percentages, the profitability has gotten better over the course of the last 2 weeks. So I would say, in addition to what Teddy said, it's a long, long season, MLB. I have found over the years that there's no rhyme or reason to what goes on with me. I can be strong first half and then go through a July where, you don't get anything right, or I could be the exact opposite, have a weak first half and close, like crazy. So it's so long, 6.5 months. To get them right consistently all the way through is difficult. So we'll see. I would say stick to it. You know what you're doing.
Listen, Dave Koken and I were down to the final out on who was going to be the number one most profitable handicapper in baseball last year. And Dave beat me. So I was number 2 last year, but I can't see it right now this year, but I'll get it going. Listen, Rob, before we get into all your stuff, welcoming you, et cetera, I got to let everybody know we've got a new thing going on over at Sports Memo. It's called Freebie Fridays, and one of our hottest handicappers is free. Literally, go over to Sports Memo. It's not $1. It's not 50 cents. It's free. Today, it's John Ryan. And John Ryan is rolling right now. 69% winning bets in the current NBA playoffs, 68% ATS, spanning the last 3 NBA playoffs. He's killing it, and he's free today over at sportsmemo.com. And Rob, speaking of John Ryan, you were on the Predictive Playbook last night. Tell us what time that is. Talk to us about that show.
Yeah, that's a show hosted by John Ryan. I kind of co-host with him each and every day. Starts 4:10, 4:15 each and every. It's daily, Monday through Friday. So you can catch it every day. He brings on a host of different handicappers from WagerTalk and Sports Memo. Tony Finn generally is the third guy with us most every day, Monday through Friday. Say 4 out of 5 days, Tony's there. And then he brings on handicappers from Sports Memo, handicappers from WagerTalk, and the guys release show best bets for free to everybody. And we discuss the games at hand each and every night. So last night, I think, Prez, you said you caught it. We had like 6 guys, counting John, on that show. Tony Mejia, good basketball mind for sure. And we discussed and analyzed the games from a whole bunch of different perspectives. Jimmy Adams, somebody from Sports Memo who's red hot right now, was on talking baseball yesterday. So it's a fun thing to do at the end of the day. It's a little less regimented and a little more of a wind down heading into the games. We'd have a little bit more information, baseball lineups, et cetera. So good show to watch, 4:10, 4:15 each and every day. You can usually find the link on Twitter or at wagertalk.com.
Rob Veno, everybody. And Rob, I popped in yesterday, and I'll tell you what I really liked about the show was it just felt loose. It felt loose and fun. Yeah, like that, Teddy. Teddy is the least loose human being you'll ever meet in your life. Anyway, let's get to it, brother. We got NBA tonight. I had a 5% play on the New York Knickerbockers a few nights ago. Cashed that. Tonight, Atlanta -4. There is a 5 on the board. They're hosting the Knicks. You like the first half here. Where are you going?
Yeah, I like Atlanta first half, Prez. Now, when I sent it in to you guys as a play that I would discuss today, we saw 2.5, so it's currently up to 3, but I'm not going to waver off of that. There's some situational reasons here why I played it that particular way, and I wouldn't argue anybody off of playing the Hawks for the game here, but I like first half. First of all, the Knicks, very young, playoff inexperience. You're talking about Taj Gibson and Derrick Rose, the two guys that have playoff experience on this team. And by experience, I mean more than just a couple of games played this year. So you're going to take that team on the road off of that victory that they just had in New York, where it looked like they won the world championship, crowd was rocking, and you're going to put them in front of 15,000 at State Farm Arena tonight. Now, to me, the Atlanta Hawks come back home in a little bit of an angry mood. They blow a 15-point halftime lead in that game. There's an incident with Trae Young and a fan in that game. Of course, again, that's a circumstantial addition to a handicap, but Trae Young will be ready. My idea of how it plays out, guys, is that Atlanta's fully motivated from the get-go. And if the crowd will support them first half, I don't want to give the Knicks halftime adjustments to regroup and maybe come out and play a better second half. I think Atlanta can attack them first half. We get in here, like I said, -2.5. I'm seeing -3 now, but I don't think it's that big of a deal. Some stuff to consider here that should get back to the norm. Bogdanovich, starter for the Hawks, one of the best three-point shooters, 2 of 13 from 3 in the last game. I figured that can correct itself somewhat. Danilo Gallinari, 2 of 9 from three-point range last game. Figure that can correct itself a little bit. John Collins, starting small forward, 0 points, 5 fouls in that game. Led to less minutes, no points. Figure that can correct itself. That's 3 of the Atlanta starters that I think will be better here. The Hawks bench, capable of, playing with the Knicks, matching what they do. Second quarter, we know these coaches go to their substitution patterns. I think the Hawks bench certainly can play with the Knicks and hold on to any margin. So I like Atlanta first half, guys. Again, I wouldn't argue off of full game, but I just don't want to give Tom Thibodeau the opportunity to calm his team down at halftime and maybe come out second half with some adjustments that make it a different game.
Now, the teams that are down 2-0 in series tend to get a lot of first half money. When it comes to game 3, whether they're traveling, whether they're returning home or whether they're hitting the highway, down 0-2, it doesn't matter. Those teams take a ton of money first quarter, first half. We've seen it, and the markets are doing it again this year. Look no further than the Clips tonight, who are laying 2.5 for the first half and that for the full game. Here's a story, however, where it's just 1-1, and yet the money's still coming for Atlanta first half, and it's been full game. Pretty heavy money for the Hawks this morning. Do you worry at all about the loss of line value here and the market's kind of overreacting to the team off a loss? Or is it just a situation where they can't price it high enough? Atlanta's the right side, and even if it's 4 for the first half, we'd still be looking at the Hawks side here.
They can always price it high enough, Teddy. They can always price it high enough. I just didn't think that this number was high enough. I think that the Hawks probably walk out of the first half with a lead of 5 or more. So I'm not too worried about the 3, even though I got the 2.5. Talking to people that would bet it now, you're going to get a 3. I don't mind that. But yeah, they could certainly price it high enough. Of course, you know me long enough. I deal with all these things situationally, not blanket statement. I think that game 2 loss leads to this play here situationally. Yeah. So give me Hawks first half in front of their home crowd, which 15,000 coming home to. That's a lot as these crowds start to increase here.
Rob Veno, everybody. And Rob Incognito, one of our listeners, says Knicks hottest ATS first half teams. He'll take the Knicks. And I just want to point out there, Incognito, Atlanta has come out both games on fire. Right. I mean, they've not only covered that first half spread both games, but Even the game they beat, even the game they lost to the Knicks. I mean, they were up by, I think, 15 at one point in the third. So this Atlanta team, I love that first half angle, Rob. I mean, you've got an Atlanta team that's done it twice in a row. They're coming off of a loss. They're coming home. They're hungry as hell. Excellent handicap. Denver, Portland. I have gotten every game right so far in this series. Now we have Portland minus 3.5. It's 4 pretty much across the board, Rob. So we have seen some money coming in. Man, I got to tell you, from a fan perspective, this is just a must-watch series. It's like they'll score 20 points in 2 minutes and then 0 points for 3 minutes. It's amazing. Just pure shooting from every spot on the court. How are you handicapping this one?
Yeah, it's somewhat similar, Prez, to the Denver-Utah series of last year when Donovan Mitchell and Jamal Murray just went back and forth back and forth every game. Here you just have it being Lillard and Jokic for each side. But this is one of those series where I heard Teddy talking earlier about teams that are done, series that are over. And this is one of those that is far from done and far from over. I think the comeback here, obviously, is with Portland. The situation, their season, not necessarily over, but certainly on the line, down 2-1. To lose at home again and be down 3-1 with Denver holding 2 home games left would be pretty tough for Portland to overcome, even though they've got the capability, even though that they've won in Denver once already. So I think situationally, there's a sense of urgency toward the Portland side. Last night, if we just go to last night's game, the Nuggets shoot a series high 52.6% from 3. They made 23 pointers. That's not necessarily the character of the Denver Nuggets. Last night, that is series high plus 14 free throw attempt advantage over the Portland Trailblazers. Last night, they had a season high minus 16 field goal attempts. Portland shot the ball 100 times last night. Just didn't shoot it real well, but they shot it 100 times. For the Blazers, it was a series low 45% from the field. It was a series low 13 free throw attempts. They've got to get to the line more. I think they will here. And a series low 31% three-point shooting. All these things should come back to the norm a little bit. All that being said, all those highs for Denver, all those lows for Portland, it was a 5-point game, 120 to 115. So I think if some of that stuff straightens itself out, you get Portland as the winning side here. I'm looking for this team, again, to be fully focused from the opening tip. Denver has played pretty good first halves, the last 2 games, no doubt about it. I think Portland, in a series that is as much, in my mind, of a zigzag as anything. Zigzag used to be a huge thing. I know, Teddy, you talk about it a lot. It's not really a thing to that extent anymore. But in this series, it might be. Jokic, 38, 36, and 34. Don't know that they can slow him down. But the fact that Austin Rivers gets off for 4 3-pointers in the last 6 minutes last night, stuff like that can't happen. Damian Lillard obviously has figured out we're going to guard him with Aaron Gordon situation because Damian Lillard scores 37 last night. So give me Portland. Again, this is playoff handicapping. This isn't really regular season handicapping. This is playoff handicapping where I think situationally Portland the right side. Money's come that way. Again, I laid 3.5 earlier today. Now we got 4. I could still see Portland covering this game.
So I want to ask you this, Rob.
Yeah.
Because we've seen the backcourt combo for Denver of Campazzo, Rivers, Morris, Howard, and Harrison. That's the 5 guys they got in their backcourt rotation. And through 3 games, make case they've been every bit as good as Dame Lillard and C.J. McCollum for Portland's backcourt. Does that continue? Because if it does, the Blazers ain't winning a whole lot of games left in this series. Or can Portland's backcourt actually stop these guys and step up against the Austin Rivers and Monty Morrises of the world?
Yeah, and over the course of a long haul, Teddy, you would think that Portland could. Again, Denver's been nothing if not resilient through all these backcourt injuries, right? I mean, I've talked about it 100 times. Damian Lillard struggled mightily for years against Denver because Gary Harris Jr. was assigned to him. Gary Harris Jr. no longer there. Damian Lillard's going off. But to lose Murray, to lose Harris Jr. to trade, to lose Will Barton, I mean, it's a lot of loss for this Denver team. So give them credit I think in a one-game situation, the answer to your question is yes. I'm hoping that one game is tomorrow because I bet it already. But certainly, you got to get a little more. And interesting, Teddy, when you look at the box last night, Terry Stotts went to a 7-man rotation. He just cut everybody else out of the game, basically 7 guys. And here's what we're going with. With these days off in between, you can do that in the playoffs. But he may need a little help deeper than 7 guys tomorrow.
Rob Veno, Rob, we got to get this show moving along. Everybody's waiting with bated breath for Teddy's big game breakdown. Might be a little sarcasm there, but I'm waiting. Rob, San Francisco, LA Dodgers, Ferris Bueller on the mound. Minus 208. I don't like betting that kind of number, especially against San Francisco. This team is doing well right now. How do we bet this game?
I laid the run and a half full game and took plus 105 with LA. And if it ain't broke, don't fix it. LA's 4-0 now within the last 6 days against the San Francisco Giants. Outscored them 23-12. There were a couple one-run games in there that would be your counter argument to laying 1.5. Those 2 games were specifically against Alex Wood, left-handed pitcher. I'm not going to go through the numbers. Just take my word for it. The Dodgers' dichotomy between what they do against righties, which is at the top of Major League Baseball from a hitting perspective, and what they do against lefties is night and day. So the Alex Wood stuff is somewhat explainable that they didn't score enough runs to cover a run line. But against Anthony DeSclafani, your starting pitcher tonight, Dodgers just saw him last week. First of all, he's 0-5 career against the Dodgers. I get that it spans back to 2015, but he has never had success in any start against LA, no matter when he's pitched against them. Last week, though, it was 2 2/3, 9 hits, and 10 earned runs out of the game for Anthony DeSclafani. For Walker Buehler, career is the exact opposite. 4-0 against the Giants. 30 innings pitched, has not allowed a home run. Last week against the Giants, he dominates 7 innings, 1 earned run. Strikes out 5, only walks 1. The bullpen, guys, the Dodger bullpen's so well rested because if you just go through game logs and look at what the starting staff has done for them over the course of the last 10 days, 12 days, starting staff is going deep, and preventing the bullpen from being used that much. Interesting number on the Dodgers real quick, guys. They have the 3rd best inherited runner scoring percentage in the league as a bullpen. They've only allowed 25% of the runners to score. Pitching, hitting, bullpen, like all 3 aspects for the Dodgers. Give me the Dodgers minus 1.5 at a plus price.
So I want to ask about DeSclafani here, because this is a guy who prior to that last start against the Dodgers was bet on all the way this year. I mean, what he gave up, 12 runs in his first 10 starts, his first 9 starts of the season. And that's bet on. and obviously the Giants won for him going 6-3 in those 9 starts. Is there anything positive? And of course, last time out, his ERA went from 2.03 to 3.54 in 1 start against the Dodgers. Is there a chance for a bounce back here from this guy, or is it just this is a bad fit for his style and the Dodgers are going to continue to rock him?
Yeah, there's always a chance, Teddy, but I think it just doesn't fit the Dodgers. I mean, his list of opponents heading into that game were not a who's who of offensive baseball. He faced the Padres twice, but to the best of my memory, one of those was against the Padres weekend lineup without Will Myers, and I think that might have been one of the Fernando Tatis COVID games. So he hadn't faced a lot of power lineups heading into this, and then last week he just got destroyed. Historically, he's not a tremendous pitcher, not at least to the numbers that he had shown before he faced the Dodgers. So I think the Dodgers did it once. They could do it again. Maybe not 10 runs in 2 2/3, but certainly enough to cover 1.5.
Yeah, I like my Gwen Stefani medium rare. Rob, one of our listeners, Josh, J2 we'll call him, he needs to be talked off the Clippers without any breakdown. Clippers or not Clippers?
He's not going to get anything from me because I didn't play the game, Prez. So situational Clippers. What's going on? 5 meetings this year, Dallas. Counter arguments.
Okay. There you go. Robert Veno, everybody. Rob, what do you got to promote?
Hey, I can promote NBA at WagerTalk.com right now. pair of 4% best bets up and available at WagerTalk.com. About to load some baseball in there as well, so you'll get the full day. We're going to look ahead to NBA and put Saturday, Sunday plays up as well. So get it all, WagerTalk.com.
Thank you, Rob Veno, everybody. Guys, real quick, let's just do a recap. We've got Teddy's $200 offer, one more day. It expires tonight, midnight PST. Get $200 off of Teddy Covers' entire baseball season all the way through to the World Series. It's a great, great deal. Teddy is on an 11-0 run. Give this man the type of love that I give him on a daily basis, which is a very high level of love. Also, Freebie Fridays over at Sports Memo from here on in until I'm told otherwise. One handicapper will be chosen every Friday, and it is free. Not even a penny. John Ryan today, and John is rolling, and you can also hear John around 4:15 on the Predictive Playbook show, which is a real fun show to do. Teddy, let's take a quick break. We're going to be right back with your big game breakdown, Skee Profit, and, of course, the most watched segment in the history. I mean, the 60 minutes of segments, the penalty box.
What's better than $2 Tuesday at Sports Memo? How about Freebie Friday? We can't go any lower than free, and each and every Friday we'll hand select a best bet from one of the hottest handicappers on the site and give it out for free. All you have to do is each and every Friday, head over to sportsmemo.com. The Freebie Friday will be listed on the homepage, and you'll be just a click away from a free bet.
It is time for today's big game breakdown. Let's talk about the Knicks and the Hawks. Game 3 tonight. Looking at the WagerTalk, the WagerTalk live odds screen. Mostly 4.5s out there as we speak, with Atlanta as the favorite. There are a couple of 5s for the Hawks, both at sharp and at recreational books have the 5. So it's not like all the sharp money's on one side or all the public money's on the other. It's a mix of 4.5s or 5 total, sitting at 211 in most locations. And when we look back to what we saw in game 2, all right, we saw a Knicks team for the second straight game get off to a sluggish start. We saw for a second straight game, Julius Randle really struggled, 6 of 21 in game 1, 5 for 16 in game 2. The Knicks basically looking at the abyss. When they're trailing by margin in a 15-point deficit in that ball game. And what happened? Yeah, they came together. They played really well. Julius Randle, the intensity went to another level. Coach Tibbs, there's a great will and determination to him. Obviously, you're disappointed in the way he played in the first half. Sometimes just a couple of hustle plays. Julius is not going to go away. He's great will, and he's a great fighter. And after scoring 2 points in the first half, he played a much better second half against Atlanta. We're seeing a lot of criticism here of Nate McMillan, what happened in that loss. And look, Nate McMillan in his career, 17 wins, 37 losses in the playoffs. He's had more than his fair share of difficulties in the postseason. You blame the coach? I don't. You blame the teams he's been on? Yeah, he's been coaching a lot of mediocre teams. Hence the playoff struggles. But I'm seeing criticism out there, mainstream media criticism. Guys saying, wow, this is Nate McMillan's fault. It's Nate McMillan's problem. He has to put his starters out there. You can't have Gallinari and Tony Snell and Lou Williams on the floor for extended stretches, and the starters didn't play long enough. And to those people, I say, you're a bunch of idiots. Okay?
Yeah.
They fly. People that literally haven't watched an NBA game start to finish all year. And they turn on a playoff game, and in the second quarter, they're like, this coach is bad. It's insane. Nate McMillan is an excellent basketball coach. Atlanta's a deep team. Their bench is very good. Because their bench didn't play well, and Gallinari and Snell and Williams were missing shots the other day, and the Knicks went on that big run, they're like, oh, you got to shorten the bench. You got to bring Young and Collins and Bogdanovich back in the game. I'm not buying that. I'm confident that McMillan, the type of coach who's not going to react to the criticism after the game, quote, I was fine with my rotation, And Atlanta's going to be fresher tonight. Derrick Rose, injury prone, old, just coming off 39 minutes. No surprise Atlanta's a fresher team tonight. No surprise they bounce back strong. The Hawks or pass for this better, much like it was Knicks or pass for this better in game 2. We'll look for the series to flip once again in the only series that's still zigzag right now. Look for Atlanta to bounce back. And there's your big game breakdown, Prez. Back to you, my friend.
If he's playing, he's laying. Teddy Covers. I welcome everybody in. I love having you all here, guys. Mateo, let's go wild. Terry, big game for you tonight. Niall, Joe, congratulations on your overtime bet last night. Guys, please hit that like button for us. 300 of you watching, only 43 likes. It literally takes 1 second to hit that like button, and we do need it, Teddy.
I had a quick question about the pricing for the overtimes, because is it still plus 300, plus 320 every game like it was at the start of the first round? Because it's like, you're right, every night the $3 dog is cashing at least once.
So actually, you know what, adjust? Teddy, it's a great question. There has been a little bit of adjustment. So to give you perspective, Vegas, Minnesota tonight, plus 300. Maple Leafs and Montreal tomorrow, plus 300. And the Islanders and Boston, which I think is the most likely game to go to overtime out of the 3, plus 290. So there has been a slight adjustment. But it's about picking your spots, right? So we'll talk about that a little bit in the penalty box segment. Let's bring him in. Ladies and gentlemen, drum roll, please. Here we go again on my own. Skee, you know that song, or are you way too young?
I definitely do not. But it looks like you guys are having fun.
Yeah. Teddy, I think it's Whitesnake. Am I wrong?
I don't know. I've tried to put it out of my head for
I got it, Joe Ranieri.
You keep bringing me back.
Yes. Yeah, there you go. Anyway, Skee, welcome, brother. Thanks for joining us, man. Sorry to get you out of bed on a Friday morning. How you been?
I'm all right. I'm doing well. Prez, here in Vegas, they really, really love the Knights. I'm going to be tuned in to see if you like them, because if you do, I probably will put a wager on them and go enjoy it with the people in town. And I wanted to mention, I heard somebody ask to be talked off the Clippers, and Skee Profit appears. So I'll gladly always help with that. The Clippers, for one, they can't stop Luka. Ty Lue seems incompetent. Like, why is he playing Patrick Beverly so much? Why is he not playing maybe Ibaka more? Pandemic P, don't trust him. Kawhi Leonard scores 41 points. They can't win. They win the rebounding battle. They can't win. They score more points in the paint. They can't win. They only have 5 turnovers. They still lose. The Clippers are just not good. Until they can stop Luka, don't put any money on the Clippers.
There you go.
So I want to go with this, with talk about the Knights and the Minnesota for tonight, because you talked about Vegas being a hockey town. Have you seen the ratings? Vegas is the number 1 hockey town in the country. Okay?
I believe it.
We are hockey town. Forget the
I love it.
That's insane.
Everywhere I go, it's Knights stuff everywhere. Everybody loves the Knights.
Everybody, dude. I've never seen a city fall in love with a team as quickly as this city fell in love with the Golden Knights.
And totally off the gambling topic. There's 30 teams in the league. The Knights come along and all these colors and uniforms and logos and names all taken. They just show up and stomp on all 30. We'll take the best name ever. We'll have the best colors ever. Our logo kicks ass. I love what is going on in Vegas. I've been to games there. The place is electric. What, Teddy? What?
So I don't understand, like, this whole concept of the best logo ever, the best colors ever. Will
Why,
people actually
dude?
think that? It's like a uniform. One uniform is the same as the next, dude.
Oh,
It's the logo.
Teddy, not everybody lives in your world of sports gambling, brother. Believe it or not, there are people out there that just like to wear jerseys. Anyway, Skee, Washington, Connecticut, WNBA, -7.5, 156. Please, God, handicap this game for us.
Yeah, WNBA, I came into the show really wanting to give you guys a player having something to talk about. And these lines move so fast that we kind of lost some of the value on it. So I'll do my best to break down this game with the current lines. Washington and Connecticut, two teams that play extremely slow, really good defensive teams. You have Connecticut, who's extremely solid protecting the paint, and pretty much they dominate the paint on both sides. On offense, they dominated. On defense, they dominated. Washington also pretty solid locking down the paint. So I don't see a lot of opportunities to score easy baskets for either team. The only thing is Washington not great guarding the perimeter, and Connecticut's the number 2 3-point shooting team. So other than that, I see less points. It opened up at 160, 161.5, and just an hour and a half since I've been looking at the lines, it started down to 156.5. And the number I made for the game was 155.5. So kind of lost the value, but I still think it'll be a lower scoring game. At this point, I mean, Connecticut, they were undefeated until they ran into the Seattle Storm and their head coach was suspended. So coming back in this game, I think they'll bounce back, and they're a team that's extremely good at home and really good in the first half. So that's the way that I would bet Connecticut today. First half, and the only way I would look to play the total would be under.
Let's talk about Minnesota and Seattle, because I can't ask you intelligent follow-up questions on the WNBA. It's not a sport I cap, and it's not a sport I know. So I got to move on to the next one. Minnesota and Seattle, and right now, Seattle basically a 6-point favorite. There are some leading indicator books that say this line could go down. Total $1.66, and it looks like it's going up. So talk to me. Minnesota, the Lynx? Seattle's
the
Storm,
Lynx.
right? What are these teams? Am I right?
Yeah, you're correct. For the Lynx, they're 0-3 to start the season. Ariel Powers had an injury. She's going to be out, but they do get Collier back in the lineup. She's their superstar for Minnesota. And you have Coach Reeves. You can never count them out when you have her coaching. So they're going to be hungry and desperate to come out here and get a win. And when you have that coach and that caliber of expectations, I don't want to go against it. So I understand why the line could go down. I'll look more towards the total in this game for my play. 166, and you say it's heading up. I agree. You have the Storm. They're dead last protecting the paint so far this season. You look at Minnesota, they're 4th points in the paint. I think Fouls will be successful down there. Collier will probably be successful as well. And then on the other side, Minnesota, right now, they're 3rd worst defending the perimeter. And you have Seattle as the number 3 3-point shooting team. So I look at both teams' pace. They're both going to be up tempo. 9 of the last 10 meetings have gone over. And you can also look at this. The over is 21-8 since 2015, when a team has more than 6 days rest and a total higher than 156. So you have Minnesota coming off of a week off, and it matches up in this system. I think we see a lot of points. I like the over.
Skee, I did not feel your rhythm on that breakdown. I went with the Skee Profits twice there, so I apologize, man. We were out of sync, me and you. Let's talk Brooklyn, Boston, and speaking of out of sync, that would be the Celtics right now. Brooklyn -8.5, total of 227. Man, can Boston make this a series, or is this going to be a steamroll?
I think I heard Teddy talking about teams that are just kind of out of it. It seems like Boston would be in that category for me. I know when teams are down 0-2 coming home, usually like to look at them in the first half. I mean, we saw how it worked out for Miami yesterday. I think it could be the same kind of deal for the Celtics tonight. I feel like this series is pretty much over. I look at the first half. I mean, besides that first game when the Nets were rusty, they've been pretty solid on the first half. If you discount that game, 5-0 in the first half, the last 5 other than that, and Celtics, besides that, 1-7 against the spread their last 8. first half. So I like the Nets early, probably often as well. I don't love today's NBA game. That's why I chose to WNBA. But if I'm playing this one, I'll be laying with the Nets in the first half.
So when you talk about Boston as a team that you stick a fork in them, done here. It looks now like Kemba Walker's going to go tonight. There were some concerns about him. It looks like Tatum's going to go. Do you think that Brooklyn, after the blowout win, just kind of exhales a little bit, and the Celtics show some fighting spirit, or is this literally just grab your fork and stick it in Boston? This team's done right now.
Well, Celtics showed fighting spirit in game one, and they still can take care of business. So even if they give it their all, I just think they're overmatched. As long as Brooklyn cares about the game a little bit, which I think they will. I mean, you have Milwaukee over there up 3-0. I think Brooklyn was to prove that they're still the best in the East. So I think it's a game where Brooklyn still comes to play. Only thing that messed them up in that first game was being rusty. The Celtics, I just think they're not talented enough, regardless if they come to play.
Skee Profit. Skee, thank you for joining us, man. What do you got to promote?
Well, so far, start WNBA. I'm 8-4 on the season. My last 114 WNBA plays, I'm about 58.7%. And I have a best bet up in the WNBA tonight. So look out for that.
There you go, guys. And don't sleep on Skee's NBA. I mean, I know that, right now the playoffs are underway, especially in the NBA, and a lot of your attention is focused there. But between Skee's WNBA and Andy Lang's golf and Tokyo Brandon's Asian baseball, you're not going to make any more money than those three. So please check them all out. WagerTalk.com. Skee, it is time. By popular demand, the penalty box segment is about to begin.
Talk to you this afternoon, Skee.
I'm live. Okay, let's go. I got so much to talk about. We're going to do tonight's games, tomorrow's games. We're going to do a series. So let's start with Vegas, Minnesota. And I'm going to tell you guys right off the bat, I know Skee is like, I want to bet Vegas. I'm in Vegas. I'm going out with the boys. It's going to be on TV. There is absolutely no value to bet Vegas at minus 180. Would I bet them in regulation? Unlikely either. I can see this game going to overtime. And frankly, based on value alone, Minnesota is the bet here, Teddy, plus 160. I know that Vegas is a better team. They're a veteran team, but they really cannot consistently score goals. They were shut out last game in a game that they could have put Minnesota away. They've lost 2 in a row, and I just can't back a team that can't score consistently. I think Minnesota, look, Fleury is played out of his mind. Yeah, so is Minnesota's goaltender. I think Minnesota is the bet tonight, but I'm not going to make it because I think that Vegas, it's one of those where the value is on Minnesota, but I'm going to lay off. Anyway, tomorrow night, Leafs in regulation, guys, flat out. I understand they lost last night. Bad turnover at the end. I get it, blah, blah, blah. We saw Carolina go to Nashville and win in 6. We'll see the Leafs go into Montreal and win in 6. As I also like Boston at minus 170 tomorrow. But onwards to the Carolina-Tampa Bay series. Guys, Carolina plus 110 is the bet. I am betting that. I think Carolina will get through Tampa Bay. I think they're a better team all around. That's it for me. What an awesome show, bro. Anyway, I'm going to find myself a fried chicken sandwich, probably Mary Brown's. Take us home.
Absolutely. Hey, that's going to wrap it up for the week here on Wager Talk Today. I want to thank all of our guests for today, especially Rob Veno and Skee Profit. I want to thank Joe Ranieri behind the scenes. I want to thank my co-host, Lawrence Presman. Most of all, I want to thank you guys out there for taking time out of your busy day to hang out with us, your Sports Central for Gambler, each and every weekday. We'll be back again Monday morning, 9 a.m. here on the left coast, noon on the East Coast. Between now and then, enjoy the games and good luck.
Seven days of all access, any handicapper, every play, all for $77. Grab this special now as it expires Monday, Memorial Day at 11:59 p.m. Pacific Time. That includes MLB, the NBA playoffs, the NHL playoffs, soccer, golf, and even motor racing. Complete coverage with complete convenience as you receive an email immediately once your handicap releases a play, allowing you to get the best of the line. Just use coupon code FLAG77. Have an existing all access? We have you covered, as the 7 days will be added to the end of your current subscription. Best of all, this special is not limited to one per customer. Try as many cappers as you would like each day for only $11 per day.